Everybody, it's TG3 here. I wanted to make this video. I procrastinated on this video for a long time. I was supposed to make this video last month. It was about the number one thing not to do when you're dealing with grief. So my mom passed in March of 2022 due to cancer, and it affected me tremendously. And I wanted to make this video in case it helps at least one other person out there, because everybody deals with grief differently, and who knows, somebody might see this video and it might be helpful. But the number one thing that I found to not do when you're dealing with grief is avoidance. Completely avoiding it, which is what I did. My mom passed in March of 2022. I just kept on being busy, kept on taking care of the kids, kept on growing the business. I just kept myself very, very busy, which to a degree, I've heard the feedback that that's actually helpful. But what I want to invite you to consider is that you want to face it head on and start finding different strategies to actually heal. Even if you are busy, I was just busy and I never took any steps to actually heal. Also grew up in a household in America where we never talked about grief. I never was taught how to deal with grief. I didn't even understand the full bandwidth of emotions as a man in America of what all I was feeling and dealing with. You know what I mean? So what happened to me was that March until about December, I just kept on moving forward, taking care of the kids, growing the business, doing all the things, laundry, dishes, oil changes, you name it. And then when Christmas time came around, it all hit me like a ton of bricks. And that's what you don't want, because when that happened, it was so easy for me to fall into negative thought patterns, so easy for me to fall into negative habits and doing things that quite frankly don't serve me. It's a lot of different ways that I could go into that, but when Christmas time came, it hit me like a ton of bricks, because Christmas was a very special time for my mom, and she made it a very special moment for us with the food and just so loving and caring, and she was an awesome mom. So when that happened, I realized in January, or really right around the next March, I kind of picked myself up off the ground and said, you know what, I really need to find different ways to heal and face this head on, whether that may journaling, whether it be just finding different ways to channel that energy. I actually heard a story during around that time where this lady said that her dad had passed from cancer, and so every year on that date they go out and give flowers to cancer patients at the hospital, or they do something special for people that are battling with cancer. And that was kind of like her way of turning the negative into a positive mentally. You know what I mean? But it's a very tough conversation, and which is why I've been procrastinating making this video. But I just thought I'd offer that, because a lot of times we may think that, like myself, I thought that I was dealing with it or that I was okay, but I had never really faced it head on. I just was finding a productive way to avoid it, if that makes sense. So anyway, I don't want to make this video super long. Hope it helps. If you're dealing with grief, look at different ways that you can handle it. I know for me, just realizing that my mom was a part of who I am, realizing what she did for me and how grateful I was for the time that I had her, instead of focusing on all the things that I missed. Of course, I still miss her, but it allowed me to start the healing process. And that's what you want to do. If you got to cry, cry. You need to go scream, scream. You need to go, hit some stuff and go to a break room. Do it. But at least you could take a step towards healing instead of just avoiding it, because all you're really doing is just prolonging it. Anyway, TG3, hope it helps. I'll see you on the next video. And my mom loved to dance, so get a little dance on today. You know what I mean?